Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck, and Richard and I recently took a few fantastic little trips over across the pond to Western Europe, and one of those stops was to Belgium, which is, bar none, one of the most beautiful countries I have ever been to in my entire life. We went to Bruges specifically. I mean, we took the train from the Netherlands, Amsterdam, which is another incredible city, one of my favorites in the world. We went from there, went through Antwerp, also went to, of course, Brussels, went through, and Ghent, St. Peter's, that area, and ended in Bruges, the train ride. And let me tell you, Bruges is this fairy tale magical city that it's you can't even really describe it. Pictures don't do it justice. As stunning as the pictures you'll see of it, they just don't do it justice. It is something spectacular and special. And Belgium, as you know, really in terms of cuisine, is known for many things. Flemish cuisine, which is also like a beef stew or a goulash, but there are really three big things that are amazing and everywhere pretty much in Belgium, and that's going to be chocolate. It's also going to be beer. They're known for their beer, and also waffles. Belgium waffles. So when we were there, of course, we had to be a little touristy and take a waffle making class, which we didn't realize when we went there they were going to basically be getting us kind of drunk during it, because they were like, oh, you have to have beer too. It was also a beer tasting class. And I'm like, well, what do the two really have to do with each other? And the truth is they use beer in the batter when they make waffles. Who knew? Well, I learned something new that day, and so because I learned that, I'm going to share it with you, and we're going to make some true Belgian waffles using some beer in the batter. But don't worry, if you don't drink beer, I have you covered in the recipe, or the written recipe. By the way, all the written recipes are at pressureluckcooking.com. We're going to make some seriously amazing two-way style Belgian waffles. We're going to do the classic way and super Sunday it up, because I'm filming this on a Sunday, so we're going to do a Sunday style. So I'm going to put my bells on, and we're going to go right to the waffle maker and make the most amazing Belgian waffles. Let's do it. And they're so easy to make. So the first thing I'm just going to do here with my preparation is I'm just going to take 6 tablespoons or 3/4 of a stick of salted butter, but you can use unsalted if you'd like. And then microwave it until it's melted, and that'll take about 30 or so seconds. So we don't want it to get boiling or bubbling in the microwave, just until it's melted, all right? Set that aside for now. Next, I want to take 2 large eggs, and then 1 small mixing bowl, and then 1 large mixing bowl. I want to take the 2 large eggs, and I want to separate the egg yolks, which I'll put in the large mixing bowl, away from the egg whites, which I'll put in the smaller mixing bowl. And you can either do this the old-fashioned way, like doing a little game of tennis here, back and forth, a little volley. All right, my egg whites again in the smaller one, and my yolks in the larger. And make sure you don't get any shell in there. And shell, by the way, is the worst, right? When you get it in there, it's kind of annoying to get out. I know there are hacks for that as well, but I always find it's like using a clean finger and streaming it through there. It will kind of pretty much follow you on the way out. But a foolproof way to separate egg whites from their yolks is to use, which is exactly what its purpose is for, an egg white separator. You just crack the egg into the little separator here. And then I kind of shake it back and forth. And it's kind of foolproof here because the yolk is already cradled inside the thing, and then there you go. It just like, it's kind of gross looking when the egg white itself just kind of drops into the bowl. Kind of looks like a runny nose day, but forget about that. We're all easy and done here. The other yolk kind of already just like settled itself and burst open into the other bowl, which is fine because they're about to be whisked. All right, in the meantime, we're gonna set the egg white bowl aside for a bit. We're not gonna come back to it for a little bit. We're gonna focus now on the large mixing bowl with our egg yolks. We're gonna take a whisk here and we're gonna just whisk them together. There's really not a whole lot in there right now except for just those egg yolks, but whisk them for about 15 to 20 seconds. All right, great. Okay, so as I said earlier, while making Belgian waffles in Belgium, in Bruges, the secret ingredient really is to use beer. And for that, you can use any kind of beer you want. Just know the beer you use is going to impact the flavor of the waffles. We have in the house right now some Fat Tire, so I'm going to be using Fat Tire. You could use this out of the fridge, that's okay, but if you have it at room temperature, like if you have a whole case or something, just do it there versus when it's cold. It's because it'll kind of blend into the batter more easily, but honestly, if you pull it out of the fridge, just let it rest for like, I don't know, 20 minutes, and then you're good. Whichever kind of beer you go for, we want to use 3/4 of a cup, and we're going to whisk the beer in with the 2 egg yolks. for about 30 seconds. It's going to become nice and frothy. And by the way, if you don't use beer, or you don't want to use beer, you think it's kind of crazy, even though it's kind of the style in Belgium to do it that way, you can just simply use seltzer, club soda, or even like ginger ale if you want to give these waffles a ginger touch, or ginger beer even. Okay, and after we've whisked our egg whites and beer for about 30 seconds, it's now time to add some milk. 3/4 of a cup of whole milk here. Make it whole milk. And do the same thing, whisk for about another 30 seconds. Again, if you can keep the milk out for about 20 minutes, that'll be great. But if you kind of are a little like, you know, crazy in the head early in the morning, and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to take the milk out, you can just take it directly from the fridge. You can just try to let the eggs and the beer and the milk sit out for about 20 minutes before getting going here. And you can do that while you're prepping everything else. Great, after about 30 seconds of whisking now our milk, beer, and egg yolks, we're good. So now let's turn this liquid into a batter. We're gonna add in 1 3/4 cups of self-rising flour. Make sure you use self-rising flour for this, okay? You don't have to sift it, just make sure that looks fine. That's right from the bag. If you wanna be, you know, really fancy and get it extra fine and sifted, that's fine, but trust me, I find that it's not necessary. I also wanna add to that 1 tablespoon of baking powder, which is different from baking soda. 1/4 cup of just regular white granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and those 6 tablespoons or 3/4 of a stick of the melted butter, which is cooled a little bit now. That's why I did that first. And we're gonna whisk everything together until it becomes a nice smooth batter. Okay, we're gonna do this for about 30 seconds, and you see it's become nice and smooth, the batter. Perfect. Okay, so now with our batter, I'm gonna set that aside, and now we wanna focus on turning our egg whites into amazing stiff peaks here. First thing I want to do is I'll move that out of the way. I'm going to add in a pinch, or really 1/8 of a teaspoon is fine, of salt to the egg whites in the bowl. Then I'm going to take a hand mixer, and then I'm going to basically just blend this until they become stiff, foamy peaks. So I started on a low speed and I've worked my way up to the higher speed, and I'm all in all going to do this for about like a minute. I've done it for about 30 seconds so far, and you see what we got going on here? It's like very foamy. That's great. Alright, that looks perfect. Let me get these out of the way. And you see this? It's like nice stiff peaks have formed in here. What I want to do now is I want to take it and add it to the bowl with the batter. Scoop it right into it. This is going to make sure that batter gets nice and fluffy, or at least help it do that. And then I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to fold it into the batter. Yes, fold. You know, if you've seen Schitt's Creek, okay, this is what you do. You basically just go underneath, and then in swirling motions, kind of go under it and fold it, just like this. And once you've kind of gotten it into like a folding situation in here, you can then begin to kind of swirl it into the batter. And you see that our batter now has like this nice creamy texture to it. That is exactly how it should look, just like this. Perfect. So okay, so once the frothy and stiff peaked egg whites are fully incorporated into the batter, it's going to have this nice smooth consistency, and that's perfect. Now what we want to do is we want to cover the bowl with either a lid if the bowl came with it, which mine did, or a dish towel or anything like that, and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just let it sit and rest on the side for a bit. In the meantime, grab your waffle maker. Now, this is definitely one of like the cheaper end waffle makers out there, but in all honesty, it's going to be totally fine for this, and it's going to do the job. I mean, plus, let's get real at home. How often do people really make waffles? I wanted to do this because I wanted to show you. So I have this cheaper one here, but if you get a fancy waffle maker, great. The Ninja one apparently is amazing. It stands upright, and you can just pour the batter through the top instead of opening it, whatever. That's the whole thing. Anyway, while the batter's resting there, let's turn it up to maximum and just let it heat up. Alright, so now my waffle heater is ready to roll. I can move that aside for a second here. I'm going to grab my batter and take the lid off, and perfect. This is looking great. You see how that batter is nice and like batter-like and smooth and slightly liquidy. It's like a nice thick milkshake in here. What I want to do, I don't even have to grease this. This is a non-stick waffle maker or iron. Open it up. See all that steam? That's good. Scoop out a 1/2 teaspoon of the batter, and then just put it in the center of the waffle maker, just like this. Maybe get a little bit more than that. Awesome. And then just shut it, and then let it do its job. Don't put more than like really a half a cup, maybe a little bit more than that in there because it'll probably overflow on the sides. I mean, every waffle maker is different and has its own instructions. You see the ready light would have gone off, meaning it's not ready anymore just now because it knows that something cool has hit the surface and it's cooking it. You can trust these things. Usually it'll tell you when it's ready. About 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes all in all. This one doesn't require a flip. Some makers do that. Some don't at all. So we're just going to keep an eye on it. It's going to probably begin to steam on the sides a little bit, and that's good when that happens. That means it's really cooking in there. And you see we're steaming. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's normal. It should be doing that. That means it's cooking properly. Okay, the little light just came on saying that it's ready. I mean, you can absolutely check it, but all waffle makers will vary and be different. So I'm going to take the lid off. And you see it's not quite there yet. The middle is looking good. The edge is a little bit longer we can go for. This is looking great though, by the way. You can leave it down for another 30 to 60 seconds, to be honest with you. But even like this, you're good. You can eat it like that. That's perfectly fine. It's definitely cooked. But it's always a little bit of trial and error depending on the type of waffle maker you have. You'll get to know it well the more you use it. And you see they do all these trendy things with it now. That people put like potatoes in there and make, you know, people put like, I don't know at this point, what do they put, like cheese in the middle, and they just make it like this like cheese waffle. Like, you could do a million things with these things. So let's take this off. I'm going to take it out. It's going to come right out with a fork because it's that simple. Look at this. Simple as that. And that honestly does look beautiful. Set that aside on a plate. In the meantime, I'm going to come right back and start waffle number 2. All in all, you're going to get about, I want to say, 6 or so waffles out of this batter. So if you want to just make like half the amount, have everything. But you can vary how long you're going to cook each waffle. This one here, it does look beautiful. And the edge got a little bit, no batter got there. But that's fine. I like imperfections in things. It makes it more homemade that way. But it does look beautiful. Okay, and there's another waffle. You can take it out. It'll come right out. Try to go toward the center to grab it. And look at this. Voila. Right onto the plate. You can flip that over. It looks absolutely beautiful. And I'm doing 2 different plates because I'm going to prepare them in 2 different ways. And again, just keep on going. About a half a cup of the batter. Hey, batter. And then just look at these beauties. A stack of waffles. Of course, you could put some butter on top to give it that nice looking butter situation. As much of those little butter as you want. And then some maple syrup. Drizzle that on top so it gets in those divots nicely over the butter, of course. Gotta love some maple syrup on your waffle. And here's your classic stack of Belgian waffles right here, which look fantastic, and I'll set those aside because we can also dress them up like a sundae. And I mean, come on, look at these. Look at this beautifulness right here. The perfect Belgian waffle done in a very, very kind of cheap budget waffle maker. All right, let's make this one a sundae. All right, let's give it a scoop of some ice cream of your choice. Some cookie dough here. And maybe put some whipped cream throughout because I don't play. And now we're gonna drizzle it with some chocolate sauce, whatever you like this. Oh yeah. Maybe some caramel sauce also. Okay. And why not? I have butterscotch too. Let's just go nuts. Beautiful. And speaking of which, if it's a sundae, add some sprinkles too if you want. Or jimmies, or whatever you want to call them. Just give it some extra color. I mean, this is over the top. Ridiculous, but guess what? The kids are going to be super happy. Give them a break from the Cheerios. And look at this. Look at this amazingness here. Come on, if you want some cherry on top there, add a cherry. You want some nuts? Go nuts. Add whatever kind you want. You can make it like a malted, like from Mr. Cohen's candy shop, like you always like. If you get the reference for that one, you're my best friend forever. Or you can just do classic. Either way, we're going to try these out. Cheers! And alright everybody, here we go, some waffles. Here's the classic version, and I'm gonna just go right into that. This is too many, there's 3 stacks here, but I had to do it for the picture. So I'm just going right into them, and here we go. The outside has more of like a crunchy factor to it. I mean, the syrup has been resting on it for a little bit, so it got a little bit like soggy that way. But the middle is fluffy and delicious and perfect. The batter itself, and when it cooked up, it tastes like I almost feel like you don't even need to add anything to it because it has so much going on in there with the sugar. The beer, it doesn't taste like beer, by the way. Of course, what beer you add is going to impact the flavor. If you're using like a citrusy beer, like a Blue Moon or something like that, you're gonna have a little bit of citrus in there, which could be nice. But if you're using like a Guinness, it's gonna have like a deeper, a more chocolatey flavor to it. Maybe even slightly bitter. But, And for your choice of beverage to go with your waffle, you can 100% use the rest of that beer if there's any left in there. When we were doing this workshop, we were drinking beer with the waffles. They were encouraging it. Or you could just, use your coffee. And in my case, I just want to watch musicals and take naps. I'm a terrible napper though. Guys, in case you didn't know, I've written a bunch of cookbooks, 4 of them, all for the Instant Pot so far, but they're all incredibly easy, incredibly quick, and the signature thing to all my cookbooks, all of them, is that they all have not only amazing, tried and true, foolproof, super easy recipes with gourmet results, but every single recipe has beautiful color, step-by-step photos with a final shot of every single one, so there's no guesswork. Literally nothing. It's a timing bar. It tells you pretty much exactly how long it'll take from start to finish. No guesswork. Check me out at pressureluckcooking.com. All my recipes live there. Every recipe also has a video to go along with it. I keep it old school, like the long form teaching videos, but getting right to the point. Sometimes I talk a little bit too much, but I swear it's just to try to help you out and make it so you don't have any questions to ask me. At Pressure Luck Cooking on all the social channels, that's like, Instagram, all that. And facebook.com/pressureluckcooking. Make sure you like that page, and of course subscribe to me on the YouTube channel as well so you can always see my videos. Thank you so much again for watching, my friends. And the next time you want to make a breakfast that's super easy and will make everyone feel welcome, we'll make some waffles that are either Sunday style or classic from Belgium. I did my best to rhyme there. Enjoy. Put a candle in this one. Whew.